So good morning, everyone. My name's Dave Schneider. I'm the president of the Carbon County, of the board for the Carbon County Historical Society and Museum. We'll have a microphone when our distinguished panel starts speaking, so in case, hopefully you can hear me now, but I'll do a quick intro and greeting and then pass it on to a couple people. We are here not only for the Belfry reunion in general, but here for our distinguished guests to celebrate the great basketball teams that Belfry, we can applaud anytime. Basically to learn about the exciting times in the early 1950s of Belfry basketball and their championships, and probably one of the best teams, or the best team, in the state of Montana at the time. So we have our panel here is there will be formal introductions of panel in a minute, but I just want to make sure everyone knows. We have Glenna, we have Curtis, we have Wayne, and we have Alice. I'm sorry, Alice. Alice Rae Cammock. And there'll be a question and answer session here in a minute that Glenna and Darlene and maybe one other person will lead. We have questions already written out, so we can kind of get through a lot, and they'll be answering those questions that we have. So we'll get to those in a minute. But again, welcome all. I hope you got to enjoy the museum. If you have some time afterwards, be sure to visit the exhibit downstairs. A lot on the Smith mine. I know most of you were all, a lot of you are all a part of that era, and it's quite the exhibit down there. So enjoy that and the rest of the museum. So let's begin. We're first going to have a quick little talk from Belfry alumni from the DeVille family, Richard DeVille. Dick just wanted to say a couple words, and then we'll get in going with the question and answer. Just a couple words, Dick. 2 words.
I'm on the museum board. I've been here for a while, and I'm retired from what I was doing professionally. And so he said, since I speak both Bearcreek and Red Lodge and Washoe, that I would just be around today to be handy, in case anybody needs it. That's our president. He's very nice. If you have any questions, ask me, and I'll make something up.
So I won't go through all the introductions, but we have a number of board members from Carbon County Historical Society, and then a number of people from the reunion group that did a lot of work. Bone Daddies was gracious enough to let us use their tents after the ordeal they went through with the collapse. So we're going to have lunch over there, hopefully right around noon. But a lot of people have helped out on this from the alumni organization group and the Carbon County Historical Society. So a round of applause. So we can start. I think, Darlene, you wanted to say a couple words. Darlene, I believe, was the primary organizer for this great event.
Well, I wasn't the primary for this event, but I am the chairman for the Belfry School reunion. So along with celebrating their accomplishments, Belfry this year is celebrating their 100th year of the graduating class of Belfry. So we're having a reunion tomorrow. The doors open at 1 o'clock. Socializing throughout the afternoon. Dinner is at 5, and after dinner we'll be dancing at 7. So you're all welcome to attend that as well. But I do want to thank the museum for putting on this, and especially Glenna. She has been my phone pal for several months, as well as several others in the group. So she's done a large amount of work as well. So thank you and welcome, and we hope to see you tomorrow at Belfry. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll get into the question and answer. We have a microphone. Glenna is going to assist in leading with the question and answers. We'll see how the sound goes at first. Can you guys hear me without the microphone in the back? Or in front? So we'll see how that goes, but Glenna will lead the Q&A session for our distinguished panel here. Okay?
Did you want to turn that on? Here. Test.
I'm going to introduce the book a little bit because that tells the story. Am I on? Yeah. That tells the story of how this has all evolved. And all of you who are here today to celebrate this amazing journey that we have been on. This started in 2016 in Billings, and Alistair Baker, editor of the Carbon County News, came from Red Lodge to cover that reunion and talk to the players that were there that day. And the coverage has been spectacular. He was able to elicit a lot of good information and a lot of fun from those years of the Belfry team. So this was the genesis, this was the beginning. I will go briefly through this today, no clapping, because I think we are very aware of the time, but I want you to know all of the people that have been involved. Weldon Althoff, one of the players from Badger Basin. He listened to the radio programs, the broadcasts of the Belfry team, and wanted to come and give Belfry back, which he ended up doing. He fell in love and married a cheerleader, Marlene. Marlene, stand. No clapping, but we'll just have you stand. Stand, my dear. Stand. And the Althoff family is here. Let's have them stand. Yay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And my son Kent, he's somewhere with his children.
Where is Kent? Kent?
Kent left the building.
When we gathered that day, I was truly amazed that I handed each of them a sheet of paper, and they sat down like little kids and wrote a story about themselves. Included in the background of the book is their own personal writing. So when you look at this book, this is their personal story that you can know came exactly from them. One of the special people that has filled in so much information.
Excuse me, Glenna, we're going to put on a better microphone so you don't have to hold that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. I don't think so. This is Tyler, one of the guys who's worked endlessly here. Tyler, thank you. This is a guy sitting at the head table who has been a tremendous resource for so much information of this book. Wayne was in Bearcreek the morning of the mine disaster, along with his good friend, Tommy Donald. And Wayne was at the post office waiting for the mail truck to come from Bridger and on around. And he watched his father's car drive by loaded with stretchers because he knew they were on the way to the mine. Wayne was on all 3 state basketball teams and has a tremendous amount of information to share. So you had your questions ready for him. Wayne, thank you for all you have done. John Favero, another Bearcreek guy, and his bride is sitting here today. Kathy, will you stand, please? And John added a lot of humor, told about living in Bearcreek and some of the shenanigans that went on with all the guys, including one day they were all playing together, the guys were all playing together, and they decided one guy deserved a little extra punishment, so they tied him to the railroad track in Bearcreek. Tom McDonald's mother went and retrieved him down off the railroad track before the train came. There was only one train in Bearcreek every day, so they figured they could get by with it. Tom McDonald, beloved member of the team, he was the emotional part of the Belfry Bats. When the other opposition would double and triple team John Marcello, Tom would lead them to the other side of the court and draw them away from Marcello so he could hit that famous shot. His family is here today. Will you, three sisters? Yep. Please stand. Aww. And are there grandchildren here today also? No. Okay. I want you to read the notes on this page because Tom was so lucky. Curtis rode the bus every day together, didn't we? Up the river from the Clark's Court. Curtis was on that first basketball team that went to Glasgow, and he remembers as the team came back from Glasgow and they got to Rockville, there was a long line of people in cars waiting there to join that celebration. All the way from Rockville to Belfry, there were cars that joined them. And what did you say, over 100 cars in line that day to join that celebration into Belfry. Can you imagine? Marcello, the guy with the famous hook shot. And we've got John to reveal how he really did it. Because everybody always asks, well, how did John do it? He did it by taking an old chair, nailing it to the wall of the barn behind their house in Bearcreek, taking out the seat, and that's how John developed his hook shot. And that's part of the story here. John also talked about the first year when they came to Belfry, there was no after-school bus. So the guys from Bearcreek all had to hitchhike home. And sometimes it was cold in Montana. You know that, don't you? As they were walking and hitchhiking, sometimes they didn't get a ride, and they would take an old snow fence and start a fire and sleep out there at night. How many kids would do that today? But these are the stories that come from this book. They shared that make all of this so very, very special. It was an era probably never to be forgotten. We have Scotch Cooley Girl. Stand up. Marlene and her family lived in Scotch Cooley, which was, we call a suburb of Bearcreek, right? And the story about Scotch Cooley was really about their life before having to be consolidated with Belfry School. And Marlene went to Washoe School with Louis Custodio, and there were just the two of them in their class. When Marlene then became a freshman, she came to Belfry High School, and walked into the study hall with over 80 people, which was very, very daunting. This is Marlene's graduation picture. And this is her brother, Louis. They shared a lot about life as it was before the mine disaster. And I thought it was a very important part of this because you understood what a beautiful place Bearcreek was until that terrible day. The rest of the book is about Coach Rae and the celebration of what he was able to do and accomplish at Belfry. As I was researching this book, we were absolutely astounded to find out that Coach Rae was actually from Bearcreek. He came to Belfry, never said a word. He melded everybody together. And until about a year ago, even Lynn, right? None of us knew that Coach Rae was from Bearcreek. But that's the gift that he had to bring everybody together. He came in 1949 with his family, and by 1952, he had the first state championship team. There are lots of stories in here about how they played and also some of the shenanigans that they pulled and how Coach was able to outmaneuver them. And they learned their lesson. One time they went to Clark and they had a big party at Clark, Wyoming, and they didn't think Coach and Johnny Ungafu, Coach's confidant, would never find out. Well, guess what? They were all whooping it up in Clark, Wyoming, out way, way, way on the border. And somebody came in and said, Coach Rae's in the car outside. They all went down the coal chute, out the windows, any way they could get out of there. So when they got to school on Monday morning, they thought, man, we're really going to hear from Coach. He didn't say a word. He greeted them. Hi guys, how are you? But didn't call practice that night at all. So they thought, dude, the season is over. Next day, greeted them again. Didn't say anything about practice. So by that time, they thought they were dead meat. No more season, that was it. Finally, on Wednesday morning, he called practice. He called each of them in and asked for their excuses, which were pretty feeble. And then he called practice, and they practiced then to go on to the regional and state tournaments. So there are a lot of fun stories of which we all have the opportunity to learn as we gathered at the reunion in Billings. Alice, the bride, do we tell your age, Alice? Do we tell your age?
My age, I'm 100.
And she lived all throughout that period of time. Went on to Butte with Coach Rae, another 2 state champions in Class A, and then
3 up there.
and then tragedy. Yes, but the inspiration that he was for everyone, even though he were injured, he went on to be an inspiration for lots of young people. So I want you to understand that this book is really not about tragedy. It's about triumph. And it's about people who overcame a lot of things. And we should be very, very proud to be here today to hear the stories and celebrate all of the legacy that has been left. To the board, I can't thank them enough. They have been absolutely amazing in understanding this place in history that is so important to our county and also to the state. It's very, very important legacy that will live on, and we need to be able to tell the story. And that was my goal as we put this all together. I hope you enjoy reading them. Glenn?
Maine's family is here, and we didn't introduce
Thank you. Yes, please help me. And if there are others that are here, will the Cadman family stand up, please? From all over, right? Thank you. And what, Utah, Idaho?
Yes, Emily.
Yes.
We have 22 grandkids, 50 great-grandkids.
Oh.
And we've been married for 67 years.
Well,
You
and
were busy.
And I don't have to get a recipe out of this young woman's book.
how she did. Yes, yes. I also do know that Lynn and Wade were married on her graduation night, right after she gave her valedictorian speech. One of the things that was so important in putting this together, when we had the reunion in Billings, was for them to have brought all of the memorabilia that they did. They had collected the beautiful letter sweaters, the gold basketballs, the programs from all of the tournaments, and theirs was the beginning, really, of this whole event, because I knew that it had to be protected, and they understood it and brought it to the museum, and we are so grateful that you were willing to do that. Thank you, thank you. We also have today a very special presentation. First of all, to our special lady, our queen. And she said she has worn a tiara on occasion. Yes, I believe. To you, my dear Alice, you have been amazing in sharing information. She would write me letters and give me all of the details. And when you look in the book, in the background is her handwriting of all of the stories, because she was still willing to do that and to share with us. Alice, to you, my dear.
Thank you. Beautiful.
A gift from the Rae family is a copy of Coach Ray's plays, and it will be presented to the museum by the family. And I don't know who in the family wants. Charmaine, do you want to do this? Don?
Johnny. He's named Robert Donald,
Right.
so.
Robert? Okay, you're on.
And he played basketball.
That's right. And
At Montana State.
Montana State. This is the playbook that was given to the museum by your family.
Oh, great. Thank you. And thank the museum for everything they have done. What a wonderful achievement this has turned out to be. Both Red Lodge and Belfry and Bearcreek. And he's had some real nice plays in it from my dad.
Where's and it will be part of the collection.
Art, thank you so much. You'll be primary sponsor.
I could not have completed all of this without tremendous support from, first of all, a dear friend, a mentor who kept telling me I had to continue to write. And she got me writing originally family stories, of which I have 2 books that I have published. And then she got me involved in this. She and her husband, Pincus, live in Ottawa, Canada. And she has served as my editor. And they are here today. Barbara and Pincus, thank you so much. To my family, who has put up with me for the last, I don't know how many months. And I am not gifted in computers and so forth. So we have a lot of work to do, sometimes a little testy, but they're here and they have supported me 100%. I am so grateful to you and all the work that you have helped me do. Thank you so much. Again, to the museum, what you have done is above and beyond what I could have ever imagined when we started this journey. And for all of you today to be here to celebrate is a very, very special gift. And it is a gift to the county and to the history of this part, because this history was really, really not told. And so it's very important that it now be part of it. Have I got everybody? Larry, stand up. Larry Aleviaos' father, John, did a lot of work with the team, a lot of scorekeeping, traveling with the team, and was Coach Ray's confidant. So Larry was a little boy at the time, but he has lots of wonderful, wonderful stories. Thank you, Larry. And Vicki, thank you. Anybody else that please help me if I've missed.
How about Bobby's children?
Sorry.
How about Coach's children?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they need to come forward so you can see them. Don't be shy. I remember Patty when she was a young girl at Belfry. Char, I don't remember because she was born, but Char has been absolutely amazing. And Dawn. These are the 3 children of Alice and Dawn.
Wow.
Well, you know, what I remember is I was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And even though we were a small school, you know, the 7th and 8th graders always wanted to be with the bigger kids, you know, and we were always looked upon and not really.
Lesson,
yes. But it was, for me, it was memories that have lasted a lifetime.
yeah, for all of us.
Yeah. And I remember the basketball a lot.
Truly.
And Daddy I don't remember he ever brought that home. I know sometimes he was cross, but he never said bad things about the kids, you know, and he always loved them and he was strict, but he wanted the best for them.
Yes, he did.
So,
That's it. And throughout the book, you hear the tremendous influence that he had on them.
yeah,
Great memories.
great memories.
Neither of you are going to speak, Charlene?
I can't.
Okay.
We have a whole box.
All right.
I don't remember anything. I just know that
She was born in Belfry.
Yeah.
all I know is that Dad always told everybody he was going to name his next child Roberta Kate. But my name is Charlene, so.
Debbie?
Could I let you know that representatives of Kenny Ellington and Lee
Thank you.
Howard
Thank you.
and the Thurmalins.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for reminding me, because they are very much a part of it. The Kenny Ellington came from Scotch Cooley and was part of, what, 1952 team? So, Washington. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, and they are, there is a group of them here. Will they please stand? Thank you, Debbie. Yes. And there is a connection because Johnny B. Howard married Betty Allington, right?
Right.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of them are really, really connected.
Stand up for both of them.
Thank you for coming, and thank you, Debbie. And Debbie, who was former executive director here at the museum, is a daughter of Bill Vermeulen, who was on the, I don't know how many
Second.
teams.
He didn't play the third year.
Okay, okay. Stand up, Debbie. Anybody else?
Yes. Patty is representing.
Her family, Patty Lance.
Yes.
Patty, please stand. You represent your brother, Calvin, who was on the team, and your brother, who was a manager of the team.
Yes.
Leroy, and thank you for coming. Thank you. If I've missed somebody. Okay? All right?
How about yourself?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Who am you?
Who am I?
She's that girl from Roberts.
Roberts?
Isn't that where you came from?
Boyd.
Boyd.
Yes. And that's really what these stories were originally, and this is where I started writing. Our families were from the Boyd area. I went to a one-room country school in Boyd, and the Boyd School is still there. It is not a school any longer, but it has been preserved, and it's fun to be able to go back and visit it. And my grandparents lived on adjoining farms, and I had lots of cousins, and there are lots of family stories in these books, and that's how I really, really got started.
In the time she was writing the book,
Sorry.
or I'd call her, and we'd laugh, cry.
Absolutely.
And we have Janet, her dad is my dad's brother, and he was the referee.
We have a few stories about that too.
The unwritten book, yeah.
There was one game at the Civic Center that was pretty wild. I didn't write about that, I think Wayne did. Anyway, that's who's here today. You all made this part of the history of this area come alive. And I thank you so much because it's a celebration of all of you. I forgot I was committed.
So lunch will be ready in about 10 minutes. Did you want to do Q&A or
Yeah, they can.
you want to do a couple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Write out some questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Probably have 1,000, but we'll probably only have 5 to 10 minutes and then to eat, before we eat. So, anyone have any questions? We can just use the microphone if you want. Anybody? You must have some. Okay, just wait. Is this on time? Ready to go?
Seriously, I was waiting for a really important question, but nobody volunteered. I want to know who did the laundry for the basketball players and the football players' uniforms. I'm happy that you don't know, because I kept thinking, did Coach Ray take that home for Alice? I was in home ec and I never did laundry.
Maybe they didn't wash them.
Anyhow, that's a silly question, but I just,
And we had a wringer washer and I didn't do them.
well, maybe the school was hiring somebody to do it then, but it just, I thought, I hope Alice was not doing that laundry.
So I heard there'll be no lunch until we find out who did the laundry.
Who else?
And locker room probably smelled. Anyhow, what were the workouts like, and how long were they for your, workouts that he would do for you guys?
Was that to me?
What were the workouts like?
Well, we had a lot of plays. You never had just one. You had, depends what the defense of the other team was thrown at you. If it was a zone, if it was man-to-man, if it was a press. So there was a lot of plays to each thing they did. And in a practice, which we would practice, playing against those different defenses. And that's one reason we became so good at it. And a lot of our points, when I was a senior in high school, we made over 80 points. We could have made a lot more if we wanted to. Lodge Grass in the southern part of the state, who we beat at state that year, they were making 100 points or more. The coach really wanted to keep it down, let everybody play, get some experience, and that's why we're here today. But the main reason we're here today was this wonderful woman right here, Glenna Rae. She's the one that got this ball going. She's the star of this team. Some people just call me a star. The river stories are not here today. They passed on. Those are the stars with the Belfry basketball team. Well, now talk. Just a lot of it. This seems like this is one big happy family because of the Belfry basketball team. But, it takes a lot to have a basketball team. It takes a good coach. It takes players who want to play basketball. It takes cheerleaders. It takes the fans. And we had some spectacular fans. Some of these people never went to a ball game before. When we started winning, they show up for every game. And that's what we show our appreciation for. Mostly for those players who are not here today. Thank you.
One more question? Yep.
So before those championship games that won 3 state championships, what was Coach Ray's, what did he say to you before you went out to play? What was his speech? What did he say? What did he do?
That was my daughter, and I'll talk to her when I get home. We all got in a circle and held hands and said, let's go and play the best we can. And that's what we did. And a lot of our games we won in the second half because we were in good condition. Oh, there were a few guys on our team smoked and whatnot, but it seemed like it didn't interfere with them. They just, I never smoked and I still couldn't keep up with it. Thank you.
Well, he'd make us work pretty hard in practice, but he would see to it we were doing it the way he wanted it done and so on and so forth. But he would never raise his voice or give you the devil for something you did. He called you aside and quietly explained to you
what he wanted you to do and what you had done wrong, which I thought very, very much of that man. Being so polite like that, there was times when he could have just flat blew up and kicked your rear end. He didn't do it.
There is one story that Harold Bud Gossett told. And Harold was a very good jumper. And he was guarding somebody and headed very close to them and couldn't stop. So he jumped right over the top of this player and right in front of Coach Ray. He said he did get a few looks from Coach that day.
You know what Glenna was saying, I always when they got the ball, we were going to have a fast break, and Bud Gossett, he saw I had the ball, he made a beeline down for the basket. And I threw this ball to him, and he was going wide open. And when he turned around, I think we were playing absurd, I'm not sure. When he turned around, there was a kid about 5'8", 5'9", sitting right in front of him. And he jumped right over the guy, went down, drew the ball, 2 points. That guy could jump.
Johnny and I, Johnny Ungafu and Bob had a great partnership. Johnny kept score for him all the time. And then they also helped him ride around to see if he could find anybody that was doing the wrong thing. They had a good time.
And they found him.
Yeah, they found him once in a while. So it was a good partnership.
Just say a few things about Johnny Underfoot. He always drove a Buick. That was his car. And my dad always drove Buicks. But anyway, we were going to a ball game, and I always drove to Johnny. We were between Fromberg and Bridger, and came on the corner. And Johnny didn't let any grass grow between his feet. Came on his turn and rode, loaded a lumber laying on the road. Swamp off the right side. So he goes, puts that old Buick in the ditch, took out a bunch of cattails, threw a bunch of mud around, back on the other side of the lumber. He never did that. He never said a word, just kept on driving. That's the kind of guy he was.
Just keep talking, it's interesting. No.
Wayne, do you want to talk about the time that you had practice at the Civic Center and you were all 32?
Every time before a district tournament or division tournament held here in Red Lodge, we'd come over and play the Civic Center in practice. Well, my dad worked at a coal mine in Bearcreek. And at one time, I know he and a lot of the miners from Bearcreek, Scotch Cooley, Warsaw, donated money to help build that Civic Center. So actually it was part of ours, we felt. But anyway, we practiced hard, like we always did. Came up, and they had a pop machine in the lobby. You open up the lid, and there was bottles of pop. And you'd put your quarter in there and get a bottle of pop out. But we got the idea, the second night we practiced, we went, had a bottle up there, and a whole handful of straws. So we opened up all the bottle straws, and we completely emptied that machine. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I understand it. Belfry High School had to pay for that pop.
Now you tell them, right?
Now we say that. One thing, Marlene's sitting over here, she's been Scotch Cooley, and I knew her dad and her mother and her grandpa Jake and her brother Sonny. His name's Lewis, but we always call him Sonny. But when Marlene, and honey, don't get mad at me, but when she come to Bearcreek, just like somebody turned on a light. She was the prettiest thing we've ever seen. This beautiful woman. She was so pretty, we were all the boys were afraid to talk to her. I don't know what to say, but she's been a very good friend.
You didn't dare, my brother would have killed you.
Is Sonny still
Yeah,
alive?
90. Good.
That's what I told Glenn, I thought he was 90. Anybody,
I
wants to
think Patty wants to say, right?
Well, I just was wondering if there's, how many people in this room remember Johnny Bertello's half-court shot?
Yes. Do you remember that?
Very much so.
I think it was the state.
Yeah, it was the last shot, wasn't it?
Why don't you explain that? Wayne?
Me?
Yeah, you explained that shot of John. Yeah, the one that went half court and threw it into the basket. At the state
How
tournament.
far out was he?
Oh,
Half court, or past.
well, I'm not gonna tell all the secrets, but, you know, we did have a good team, and everybody worked hard. We played hard. We did things we shouldn't have done. But, you know, Coach Rae, we lived in Bearcreek, about 7.5 miles from Belfry. And sometimes we hear a knock on the door. My mom or dad would go to the door, open the door, and they'd be Coach Rae. Is Wayne here? Yeah, he's here. Okay, just checking. And he'd want everybody to be in their home at 10 o'clock at night. And he'd drive to Bearcreek to check and see if we were. Most times we were home. Not all the time. But when our Bearcreek High School was consolidated in 1950, so Red Lodge wanted Bearcreek to come to Red Lodge because of basketball players. Belfry wanted Bearcreek players, people to come to Belfry for basketball players. Coach Rae being from Bearcreek. Anyway, we decided, the school board decided that we should go to Belfry. And during this move, during the 4 years I've been there, it seemed like a boy from Bearcreek married a girl from Belfry, or vice versa. And so a lot came out of that. Mercer. Well, I remember one day, Glenna and I was sitting before, in high school, we were sitting at lunchtime in the assembly room, and Coach Rae came up to me, and he said, "Cadman, you're sitting on a bench tonight," because he didn't want us to talk to our girlfriends on Friday when we was going to play basketball. It's okay, Coach. So, sure enough, the game started. I sat on the bench first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, the game was real close. He said, "Cadman, get up here." And I was a little bit upset. I said, "Coach, every time I get that basketball, I'm going to shoot. Get in there." So I went in there. Every time I shot, the ball went in. We won the game. But like I said, it took all the players, cheerleaders, fans. Johnny Underfoot always keeps score for us. It just took everybody at Belfry to produce this team.
I have a question. Did you use
Bob was late in his education for going to college and being a coach. First we were married, and then he was off at Bremerton during the World War II. Then he came back to Red Lodge, and they were having the Labor Day celebration. And they were going to have a greased pig. Whoever caught the greased pig was going to win the prize. So Bob tried, along with the many others, and he caught the goofy greased pig. And the prize was a nice saddle. We didn't have any horse. So in the long run, we sold the saddle, sold our clothes, and he went to college.
Whenever we went on a road trip, we'd normally get a hamburger on the way home. But there was one night that we lost to Columbus by 1 point, and we did not stop in Red Lodge for hamburgers.
Is it true that the Did you as a ball team, did coach take you to Billings to scrimmage against the college teams for
No,
practice?
no, the only Billings team we played against, that was a practice game, was Billings Central. There'd be a lot of sisters sitting up in the grandstand, a lot of Billings people there, because they've always heard about our basketball team. And we'd always beat Billings Central. And they wanted us to play Billings Senior, but the coach of Billings Central, he said, what do I have to lose? He said, what, if Belfry beats Billings Central, I could lose my job. So we never did, and just like in Livingston, in 1954, when we beat Lost Grass for the state tournament, the people in Livingston, very good people there, and they had a very good team that year. I think they probably took state in their division. They wanted us to get a game together, but the Montana High School Association would not let us do that. So.
So I think lunch is just about ready, but we have one important item left. Glenna, would you like to do the honor? I do it. We have a couple pieces of, we used to call them hardware. I don't know if you call them hardware anymore. Oh. These have been, someone can enlighten me, I believe at the Belfry Schools, and they will remain at the Belfry Schools, but they always are welcome to have a home here. No, they'll be returned to Belfry, but congratulations.
Can I say one? Nothing against the kids from Belfry, but when we walked into the Belfry School, the gymnasium, and maybe I'm wrong, Curtis can correct me, they had a little trophy ball like that. Little tiny pumpkins like this. And when we left, they had to build a big trophy. For all these trophies. We did, Belfry and Bearcreek did work together very well. And we had guys like Bruce Steffen, who moved in here from Edmonton, fantastic ball player. Buck Goss just moved in here from Absorption, another fantastic basketball player. We had the talent to go somewhere, and we did.
That trophy that we got in '52, I was driving Coach Ray's car home from Glasgow, and we had that trophy in the front seat with us. We wrapped the seatbelt around it 2 or 3 times, anchored it down to make sure we was going to get home with it. But then, as we got in closer to home and started going through the towns that we'd played all year, the trophy had to come loose so we could be sold.
Let me just add one more thing about the team in 1952. We played up at Glasgow, that's right close to the Canadian border. Temperatures were very cold. And Centerville Miners had a very good team. And there was an Oasis bar taking odds from 7-1 that Centerville would beat Belfry for the state championship. Well, they got their eyes wide open because they didn't even come close to us. Maybe they were good miners, but they couldn't play basketball.
Well, Centerville went into that state championship undefeated, and we went in there with the 1 loss. But I don't know, it seemed like we beat them pretty easy. Even if I did get to make the last 2 points.
Another thing about Glasgow is the Oasis, maybe I told you. They were taking odds 7-1. I told you that. I'm sorry about that. When you get my age, you know, you can't forget once in a while.
They love it.
I'll let that down as a secret.
did you
Any more
ride with?
questions? Lunch is just about ready, but we can skip lunch. Do you
I
want-
just have a question for
Okay,
Mom.
here.
Who did you ride with to the games? Who did you ride with to
Who
the
did you
games?
ride with to the games? Who did you ride with to the
Oh,
games?
quite often I rode with the principal of the high school and his wife.
This is Big Dylan.
Um,
Mr. Jim Dixon.
Joy Dillon.
Wherever they were.
Dixon.
It's a long time ago, but I did ride with them almost all the time. But we had quite a caravan. You had to ride, there was no bus or anything like they have nowadays. You just got in somebody's car and off you went through the prairie. I remember going up to Glasgow. Lordy me, it was like we were going for the moon or something.
You got that right.
Larry, would you talk about how they always wore the red before a game?
Well, all the fans and the players and a lot of them, there was a red tie. I don't know why it was red, but it had VHS on it and fat on it. And they wore it to everywhere they went. Let me continue. So, in 1966, we were undefeated at home. And we were going to play Roberts. So me and my friend Bob Nose decided that we were going to wear those ties to the game. I had my dad's and Bob got my uncle's tie. Well, we should have beat the heck out of Roberts, but something went wrong somewhere. And we got beat. And we were confronted by a bunch of people that we were not worthy to wear those red ties. And don't ever wear them again. So they were sacred. You know, they were the Belfry bat ties.
One more thing, Larry, about the red ties. I remember my dad had a red tie. He'd have coffee stains on it and food stains, whatnot. And I said, Dad, your tie doesn't look very good. I'm not going to wash it. Good luck, charm. I'm not going to wash it. So there was a lot of ties there that had coffee stains on it.
Do you want to talk about when you come back with the trophies and you go through either Red Lodge or...
Oh, yeah. When they go through, especially Bridger. When they go through. We love Bridger. But we drive up Main Street blowing horns and going to back streets and we have the trophies out the windows and Curtis can vouch for one of those in 1952. But anyway, we really poured on the Bridger. And Bridger always had a good team. They beat us in a division tournament, 47-50. And I remember I got the ball, stole the ball away from one of the guards, was driven down the floor, and I thought, if I let that guard catches me, and I shoot the basket, make it, and he fouls me, I'll tie the game up. And I just turned around and looked a little bit to see where the guy was, and I dribbled the ball off my foot, it went out of bounds. Game over. Coach Ray was a good coach. He was very strict. If you did what he wanted you to do, it always came out good for the entire team. And I think we did put Belfry on the map.
One more question?
The only thing I have.
Go.
In 1943, February 27th, I'm sorry. What I was going to say is, when they had the mine explosion at Smith Mine, there were people there, miners there from Bearcreek, Scotch Coulee, Springtown, Chickentown, Gorshall, and when they had all these, when they had coal mines, they had a lot of mining camps. So all these people worked these mines. So I had three of my good friends lost their dads there. One was Don Moore Jr., Marshall Reed, Sam Giletti. There's a lot of people from Rutledge, other mines, other towns, Scotch Cool, Marshall. They also lost loved ones there, that mine. And that was just a terrible thing.
Beautiful way to end. Thank you all, distinguished guests. It's been very enlightening. So on behalf of the Carbon County Museum, it's been a real honor to have you all here. So we're going to do a lunch next to Bo Daddy's. Surprise lunch, I don't know what it is, but you can either go out the front door or the side door. Take your time because they'll serve up, I believe. But a nice lunch, and Glenna will say the remaining final words. Thank you, though.
There's a big thank you to Marlene, who has made some very special pastry that will be part of lunch, and Carol, and Debbie, and anybody else, am I missing somebody? But they have come and participated, and so this is a special treat. But the lunch is provided by the museum, and the museum, we can't thank them enough for what they have done.
Thanks, all.